This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, welcome. My name is Joey, and I am the host of the new Money in the Military show. And you might be asking, why are you qualified to teach a show on military money? Well, I was in the Air Force for 14 years. I paid off $20,000 in debt as an E3 when I first came in. And then I amassed a six-figure net worth within 6 years. And then I became really passionate about finance, and I just would talk about it to anyone who would listen or not listen. So I just became the annoying finance guy in the shop. But I've since become a financial social worker, and now I'm passionate about using my platform and my voice to help military members and their families and veterans with their finances. So that's the hope of this show. It's going to be interactive, it's going to be fun. We're going to be on Reddit and Discord and things like that, and we're just going to, we're going to highlight successful veterans. We're going to talk about, issues that are relevant to you. It's going to be crowdsourced, so whatever you guys want to talk about, that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm really excited about this project. I'm looking forward to engaging with you. If you have any questions or concerns, or just let me know, find me out. I'm all over the social medias as a fire social worker. And we'll start a relationship together and hopefully build a community of successful military members with their finances. Thank you for your time.
Hey, we are live. This is MB Radio, Military Broadcast Radio. My name is Joey, aka the Fire Social Worker, and with me I have Terry, the host of the Tracer Rounds podcast. How you doing, Terry?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you on the 4th of July?
Doing good. Happy birthday to America. Just wanted to, I'm scheduled to be on this day anyways, and I figured, why not jump on the stream and just share some good vibes for people out there that are spending time with their family. I'll be doing that later myself. You got any plans later on to watch any fireworks or anything?
Yeah, I live out in the county, so there's fireworks all the way around me. All I have to do is sit on the front porch, and I got a show 365.
There you go. Yeah, that's one of the benefits of being in the country is that you can basically have your own fireworks show if you want. But yes. I live in the city, and there's still plenty of people that are doing their fireworks shows, so it doesn't really stop some people. But it's all in good spirits.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you jumping on the stream with me. We might have some other hosts that are going to join eventually, but yeah. So we just wanted to just talk a little bit about some financial stuff, anything that's been going on in our worlds. I did want to really quickly just talk about the upcoming shows that I have planned. So next week I have Matthew Rich on the show. He is also a certified financial social worker, and he's active duty Navy, I believe. And so I'm just curious to learn more about his story. What is his financial, mission with becoming a certified financial social worker? he is he just seems like an interesting guy. So I met up with him on LinkedIn and we connected, and I was like, yeah, I would love to have you on the show. He's agreed to be on. And then after that, we have David Perret. He has the Military to Millionaire podcast on YouTube. And he's a really interesting guy. He's a Marine. I think he was 13 years active, and then I think he got and became Guard of Reserve, and then he's basically finishing out his time, but he's become a millionaire through real estate investing. So obviously I got a lot of questions for him because I want to do what he's doing.
He's doing something right, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's doing something right, and he's got a really successful podcast or show. So even more reason for me to want to pick his brain and learn from him. But I'm just glad that he's agreed to be on the show. That's going to be really, really exciting to learn from him and just, tell his story, because once again, a lot of the interest of this show is to showcase when veterans are doing really well, financially, because I think there's lessons to be learned from these stories, whether it's transition or whether it's something that they did while they're active duty. There's just so many different things that go into the financial picture. And, I just think it's really inspiring to see some of these veterans and active duty military members, doing some really great things. So I'm just excited for that. And then on another thing that's coming, it's not necessarily part of my show, but this Sunday, I'm going to be on the Military Retirement Podcast. There are two guys, John and Victor. They've been doing their podcast for a while. They talk a lot about the military transition. It's I just found out about them on Facebook. We connected, and then we're going to be on a stream together on Sunday, I think at 11 Eastern. So that's pretty exciting. I think they might actually be on the stream, where they mentioned that they might want to jump in on the stream, or not jump in on the stream, but at least watch the stream. But yeah. So that's exciting.
They do.
I highly encourage people, especially if you're either about to retire or, it's obviously they're focusing on military members who are preparing for retirement, but they also do have a lot of good content about, transitioning. If you've already transitioned, what are some good programs available to veterans, once you transition? They've got a lot of really great material and content out there. So I would highly encourage people to check them out. And then, if you're interested, then check the stream out with them on Sunday. So that's all on the fire, if you will, for a little fire joke. But yeah, that's what's on my radar. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Who have you got lined up in the next couple of weeks, Terry?
Well, I'm hopeful to have a VSO on next week. He's a veteran service officer for the county here in Texas, and he does the medical claims if you're filing a claim with the VA. And I'm going to ask him, what the process looks like, how long it takes, what's needed, what steps do we need to take now if we're preparing to file a claim. So I wanted him to kind of come on and talk, let us know what that process looks like, because I don't think enough of us veterans know, if we have anything service connected, or if there's any reason for us to even file a claim. So hopeful to have him. I've got a couple other friends of mine that are pretty darn interesting, and I want to have them on the show. One of them is former SWAT, and he was a DEA agent, and so he has a pretty interesting work history along with the military. So I'm hopeful to have him on sometime in the coming up weeks. But I did want to say that maybe I do need to get on your stream that you're going to be on Sunday, because I'm getting ready to retire from the military, and I don't know what I don't know about that, because I retire in December and then I'll start collecting, and so I'm not quite sure how to manage that and how to make the most of that income stream that I can, and right now too, the other thing, so I know we were talking about what's on my show, but I'm interested
Mhm.
too, because I'm currently retired from one job and I'm working another job. So I'm trying to decide if I should be banking my retirement money and then just living off of what I'm making now, or if I should just continue to have the military fund income that I've got and have the retirement income that I got and have the weekly income I get from my current position. So I'm a little like not sure which path I should take with all that. I know I have one investment account, but I'm not currently contributing. I just rolled over some money into it and I'm leaving it kind of staying static. So I'm just kind of interested where I might start looking to make changes or to I don't know. I'm kind of lost, I guess that's what I'm going to say.
Well, you're not alone, especially when it comes to retirement. I didn't retire, but I know my dad retired from the Marines. My brother retired from the Air Force, so I do have retirees in the family. But yeah, it's definitely tough. Trying to manage. I mean, it sounds like you have multiple streams of income, which is good. You're just trying to figure out what's the best way to utilize your income streams, right? So that's what I'm
And make
hearing.
sure it lasts.
Yes, yeah. So a
Yes.
little bit of that is putting on my financial hat. A little bit of that is going to be your actual expenses. That's going to dictate a little bit about where how much money you're going to need in because I mean it doesn't sound like you're going to retire. You're just retiring. You're still going to pursue things. So yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you're going to be better off than most. But yeah, I would say having a cushion just in case. And I was telling this to my fire boot camp guest Reed. He was he's 3 years out, but I was telling him like I was really trying to help him conceptualize that he needs like a transition fund, something that he can.
Yes.
He's going to need some of that, and I don't know your whole picture, but I would say put a little bit of money away, or maybe a lot of money, depending on what's going to happen in that transition phase. But if you feel like you're going to be somewhat stable, you're not moving, you're not doing anything like that, then I would think that yeah, it would I would have to probably get some numbers, but I mean the fact that you even have multiple streams of income is a great thing, and then you still have down the road you'll have Social Security and all that other stuff too. So
Yes.
yeah, so I think we could probably do a whole case study, but I think it would be good for you to listen in on the Military Retirement Podcast and check out some of their content. They're really good, very thorough, really thoughtful guys. I mean, I'm really getting into their content because they're not just giving out like cookie cutter stuff. They're giving out thoughtful responses, research. They're just they're really cool guys. I'm just really excited to be a part of their stream and their show, and then just maybe even getting them onto MBR. That I think that'd be a great addition to the team.
I think so
But
too.
yeah,
Sounds like it.
yeah. All right, yeah. So, and speaking of MBR, I do want to part of what I was thinking about, since this is Money in the Military, it's an Independence Day, but something that is very near and dear to our hearts as hosts is this MBR platform. And I just want to spend a little bit of time just advocating, praising this organization, and really just trying to see if we can get some assistance with some fundraising, because this operation is all veteran led and volunteer led for the most part. Like no one's really getting paid in this organization, but Joel has just been a machine, and we're just I'm just really grateful for him and for Big Grizz and everybody on the team. But I would like to encourage people, if you listen to this content and support what we're doing here, then please consider donating. We have all kinds of different donation platforms. I'm actually going to try to pull up the screen real quick, just kind of show you what it looks like to sponsor a veteran. Can you see that, Terry?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this is on mbradio.us, and this is MBR-pay. So it's on the main MBR radio website, but this is where you can go in and you can do a monthly donation or a one-time donation. But the basically what we're hoping to do here is to actually get actual materials to some of these veterans that want to start a podcast, because all of us up to this point, we've all paid for our own stuff, and Joel and them, they would have loved to done that for us, but basically we're all needing donations at this point. So I'm just encouraging everyone that if you're watching this and if you're supportive of the veteran community and the military community, MBR is a game changer. I think they're just a great organization. So yeah, so for $25 a month, you can get an on-air shout out, exclusive content. You can buy an auxiliary cord for a veteran, and then basically get to keep MBR around for a day. And then for $100 a month, podcast patrol sponsorship. So you get to become an official sponsor. Your name brand will be announced on air. So this is a good business opportunity for some people. And then you get a place on the sponsor page. So basically, yeah, you're getting eyeballs to your show or to your materials. And then we have.
And we do have a sponsor too that we like to give a shout out to, and that's LT Defense. Yes. And they're here in Texas. Yes. And so, we like to promote their business as well, because they support us and we appreciate that. We appreciate them.
Definitely. Yes. All the, and we vet all of our sponsors. We make sure that they're all, there for the right reasons. But yeah, so our most popular subscription platform is the Broadcast Battalion sponsorship. I really like these names. So you get your name or brand announced on air and placed on our sponsor page with similar, but then you also get you basically get all the other things. You get 4 ad plays on MBR. And I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. The MBR is growing and growing and growing. So if you like this content, and there's hundreds of veterans that are in the line trying to create new content, then this would be a great way to support the team. And then the VIP, the Audio Assault sponsorship. So. Yeah, I mean, I'll go through 16 ad plays, keep MB around for 60 days, mobile studio for 4 veterans. So yeah, there is a lot of back overhead that we do use for, or we are required to have in this platform. So yeah, just any little bit can help. So you don't have to do these sponsorship packages, but you can always do just a one-time, just pay what you can. You can donate with PayPal. We would really appreciate it. Yeah. So, all right. Well,
I believe there's also an Amazon wish list too.
Oh yeah,
you Amazon can just buy items too.
Yeah, we're where is that at? Because we're looking at because we have a Denver station that's a local station, and they need new equipment, so yeah, that's another thing that you could do is help us. I can't find it on here right now, but yeah, so we have all kinds of different ways that you can help us, even if it's volunteering. We would love to feature volunteers. So yeah, that's my soapbox for the MBR platform. I would eventually we're going to try to do an actual fundraising event, maybe a live stream that, I was envisioning that we would do like what Big Grizz did with Lady Liberty Foundation. We had, I don't know how many people on that stream, but it was really fun and really exciting. And I just thought it was really cool. So, we're trying to push for, more eyeballs, more growth, but, we couldn't do it without the team and without the viewers. So just
Right.
thanks everyone for contributing. I can go off all day on everything that the MBR has done for me. But I don't know. I'm curious what has been the benefits for you to be featured on MBR?
Well, really and truthfully, it was a bucket list item for me, and I happened to see it in the VA newsletter that said, "Hey, you can be a podcaster, free training, and all that." And I'm like, "Hey, that sounds just like what I want to do. That's my bucket list. That's my want and desire is to have a platform like that to interview really smart and interesting people and really bring their talents to." The masses and just let people know that they're out there and that they've got these skill sets that need to be appreciated. So really and truthfully, I get the platform, and I am honored to have it to bring these people out in front of the world and let their talents be showcased, because I think that's just amazing. I think it's like I told my guest Linwood on Tuesday. I said, you give us a gift by playing music. It's a gift to us, and we
Yeah.
have to decide what we're going to do with that gift. Because
Right.
each each one of us has gifts. What mine are, I don't know, but we each have gifts, and we give them to others, and then they're supposed to take them and use them, to the best way they can. And so this gift to me, I'm trying to use it the best way I can. And so I'm really very proud of all the podcasters on this channel, and I know some have gone on to do really amazing things. They're like nationwide, they're worldwide. They're really getting their platform out there. And I don't know if I'll ever be to that level, but I'm happy just to reach a few people here and there, and then just showcase some really good folks. And that's really what it's about for me. And MBR has given me that opportunity, and it really helps me in my day-to-day life too. It helps me be able to talk in front of people and not worry about it, not get shy or not get nervous. It's just like talking to my friends. And so it's helping me in my schoolwork, because I'm in my master's, my last class in my master's, and I have to
Nice.
record record Zoom speeches all the time now. And so it's like, this is really helping me be able to do that well. As I just appreciate the opportunity that MBR has given to me personally.
Yeah, and I mean, just from your interviews that you've done so far, like you've given musicians a platform. I think you're on number 3 now of musicians. Is that how many you've done so far, or 4?
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
don't know how that's
3.
I don't know if that was part of your plan, but you clearly have a passion for music, and it shows. And
I
I
do.
think it's just really exciting to see you excited up on the stage talking to these musicians and really getting them to come out of their shell, tell their stories. And I just love that. It lights me up when I see other people lighting up on stage. So that's really cool.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoy that.
Yeah. And really the whole video podcasting space, or podcasting space in general, is really a great platform to have these more long form discussions. You can have a more nuanced discussion on some things, or just bring in guests that you would have never met in real life, and now you get to meet them and talk to them and have a conversation that other people can benefit from. So yeah, I really love this platform, and I love just connecting with people. So yeah, Joel is a beast. He's just and he's got a huge heart. He will
Yes.
bend over backwards and drop what he's doing to help out one of us that needs him. So yeah, so that's my soapbox for MBR. I mean, I'm not going to get off that soapbox, because I'm going to keep talking about it, and I'm keep because like I'm trying to bring other veterans into the fold now. Like, one of my other guests, RGN's on is thinking about starting his own podcast on MBR. So like, we're just keeping the ball rolling, keeping people involved, and I'm just really excited for, like this is like a I don't know, it's just like a jump, a starting off point for some people, but it's also like, just a great platform to get veteran voices out there. So
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And it's such a sense of community too, because if one of us has a problem, everyone else is trying to jump on to help, whatever
yeah.
that is, like if they can do it, they will. If they have a resource, if they can just, put a few likes or a few shares in, I mean, everybody's doing
Mhm.
what they can based on, their availability. And I couldn't ask for any more. I mean, that's just the sense of community we had in the military, or we have in the military,
Yes.
depending upon whether you're still in. But your buddy, you depended on your buddy to save your bacon when you're in harm's way. In the same way here, you're
Yes.
finding like things you need help with, and they're like, hey, I got you, don't worry, I got
Hmm.
you, no problem. So
Yeah. Yeah, I really do. That's a good point. The camaraderie, the things that I've been missing in the since I left the military, we have that here in this group, and I just love that. So,
yes.
um, well, I think we've gone on a little bit. I think it's about time for a quick break. Actually, I'm going to jump in and introduce Noah Peterson, the one that you interviewed.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like his stuff, and I just gonna keep playing his stuff because I like it.
Sounds
All
good to
right,
me.
so here is Noah Peterson, another USMC veteran, with one of his songs.
Oh,
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello. Welcome back. This is Money in the Military show on MB Radio, where we're giving veterans a voice. My name is Joey, and I'm the host of this show. And I also have Terry, the host of Tracer Rounds podcast. I've been on her show before, and she's jumping on my stream now. And we're just talking about all kinds of different things. But if you're spending time with your family, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time away from them. Maybe maybe you're needing some time away from them. I don't know. But I appreciate you jumping on the stream. We got 6 viewers. That's pretty, I think that's the highest I've seen it so far. So thank you for the streamers. I see some on the Twitter and MB Talk Radio on Twitch, and then Facebook. So thank you for joining in. That means a lot to me. And yeah, so basically it's Independence Day. I wanted to kind of have some more positive messaging out there. I know a lot of people are a little, not too positive, not too happy about America in some regards, but I'm an optimistic person, and I really think that one thing that we can all come together around is really about money, because no matter what side of the alley you're on, we all have to deal with financial issues and managing our finances. So I think we can all come together and at least admit that managing finances is not fun. It's hard, and there's got to be a better way. So my vision, my goal in this whole endeavor is to try to change the narrative around money and to just normalize talking about it. And, also give people a little bit of a break, maybe give yourself some grace and realize that you are human and that you can make mistakes, and that's okay. And I'm guilty. I've made plenty of financial mistakes, and I'm human. So, so with that being said, I wanted to ask you, Terry, is there anything, you were talking about retirement earlier. So, what has been the most positive financial thing that you've done maybe since you've been in the service that has been, a really great financial move for you?
Well, because I was in the military, I got a VA loan on my house. So I got one of the better rates out there at the time I purchased. That was in 2014. So the housing market isn't what it is now. So now it's kind of, what interest rate you're going to get is probably a lot higher than what I got. So I know the military helped me that way, as far as to get me that advantage with the VA loan, and not just the conventionals where they were up percentage points from the VA loan. It's also, paid off some of my school loan debt, which, yes, I could pay it off myself, but it's nice to have it taken care of for me. Currently now with my master's, I'm paying for it because my GI Bill, you get 10 years and then it's done. So now I'm financing myself. But at least I have the opportunity to do that. And, it's not killing me like it would have been before. So, with the military, it's always been my fail safe, I would have to say, because I've been a reservist for 33 years. So it's been my fail safe, just to earn a little extra money, to make ends meet till the next payday. So when I do my weekend drills, then I get paid, and then that's what I use to get me through to the next payday. So it's always been my fail safe. And then at different points in time in my life when money was really hard to find, like it was scarce. I really kind of, I guess, lived outside my means. I guess that's the best way to say it. And so the military helped me bridge that gap when I was outside, or if I really was struggling for money, I'd say, hey, you got some duty for me? Can you send me somewhere? I'd be happy to take any mission that's on man. Just let me know, and I'll cover down on it, just because I need a little extra to kind of get me through. And so it's always been something that's helped me. And hopefully I've helped others too, but it's helped me personally, organize myself, prioritize myself and my finances, and just prioritize my life really and truthfully, because, without my military background, I wouldn't be here where I am today. I wouldn't be in the job I'm in today. I wouldn't have made it through retirement through another job. I wouldn't have gotten 33 years without the military teaching me something.
Nice. So it sounds like just the military in general has been a great financial decision for you, is what I'm hearing.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. It paid for my degree.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
And it keeps paying dividends at this point, right? Even like the VA loan, all this other stuff that's happened. Yeah. So it keeps paying dividends. So Not that this was meant to be an advertisement for the military or recruitment for the military, but
Oh,
I mean,
Army.
if we're talking about money in the military, like, let's be honest, like, for me at least, I know joining the military was the best financial decision I ever made. But then I also had to be focused, and I had to learn, and I had to put in the effort, because I joined with debt, and I was focused on getting out of debt. So I will say, I will say that the military could do better about financial literacy, and this is something that I've recently kind of been passionate about, and learning more about financial literacy. How can I, as just one person, like, get involved with financial literacy? And I guess in my own way, I'm trying to do that, but I see it as a much bigger problem. I just stumbled upon Next Generation Personal Finance, and they are actually a financial literacy organization that focuses on high school kids. And this isn't related to the military necessarily, but it is something that I'm really interested in. So I'm going to do a deep dive on just financial literacy, because what I saw a lot of times in the military when I was active was a lot of people's problems stem from not having a good financial foundation when they joined the service. But that's,
Right.
that's a personal thing in some regards. But, if school isn't preparing us, then maybe the military should prepare us a little bit better for just managing our finances. And that's not an indictment necessarily on the whole military, but I think as a whole, I think the military could do better and should do better with financial literacy from the very beginning. And I remember basic training, and this was 2006. I vaguely remember something about personal finance, but it was like one class in basic training or something like that. So hopefully they're taking it more seriously. I know they have financial counselors on bases sometimes, but I just feel like there's more to be done. And then in the TAPS process, the transition process, I think that the financial transition should be happening much sooner. Like, there should be when you're 1 year out, especially retirees, at least a year out, like having a concentrated financial plan, and they do that in TAP, but I don't know. Like I said, I think they could do more, just from my feedback, from what I've heard.
Well, I have to say I took a retirement class because I actually retired once from the military, and then I was bored and I got back in because I was like, I can't do this outside the military. Like, that's just not for
Uh-huh.
me. Like, I need to stay in as long as I can. So in 2017, I retired and I went into the retired reserve, the IRR retired reserve. So I wasn't ever out of the military. I was in kind of just a pool waiting to retire or to be called back out, whatever the case may be. And so I retired. And then in 2018, I said, hey, I can't do this. Like, I got to get back in, because I actually retired for a job because I felt like I was competing with two masters, my civilian job that paid the bills and my military job that paid some of the bills. So I was like struggling to decide which I needed the most or which I wanted the most. And I was like, I'm having trouble trying to do both. And I thought, well, my priority needs to be my civilian work. And so I prioritized that. And then I realized they didn't appreciate that. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm getting back in because I appreciate the military. So I tried to get back in, and they said, oh, that's a hard thing to do. And I'm like, well, what do I need to do? And they're like, well, you need to do this and this. And I'm like, okay, done. Now what? And they're like, well, you've got to have this and you've got to have a letter. I said, okay, now what? If that's done, now what? Well, you've got to have security clearance. I said, I do. They said, well, this unit has to accept you. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So I went into the unit, said, hey, I need a letter. They said, okay. I was in a week.
Wow.
And they said it would take 6 months. Yeah.
Mm.
So when I did the retirement, it was so much all in like 2 days that I couldn't take it in. I really
Yeah.
couldn't. They talked about something about annuity, and they talked about paying the government back because you're in this gray area. And I was like, wait, what? I'm paying them back my money? I'm like, I don't understand. So
Right.
I think to your point, I think you're right. There is a lot of education that should start prior to that, so you have a better understanding when you get to that point. Oh, I know what they mean. I know what they're talking about, I understand this is how this goes, this is how this goes, because all that information for reservists anyway, it's a weekend. It's like 8 hours in a hotel in their conference room, hearing from 2 or 3 different speakers, and you're getting a notebook that's probably about as thick as an encyclopedia used to be, or a big dictionary. And there's like, okay, and this and this and this, and you're like, wait, what? It's too much. So
it's a lot.
I agree with you.
Well, thank you for sharing. So we actually have a new host joining the stage. So we have Jose. We're gonna go ahead and jump him in and say hello. Jose,
hello, everybody.
How you
How you doing?
Hey,
I'm the new guy. I'm new.
The
I'm
new guy, new kid on the
MBR.
block.
Hi.
Well, what's your show?
Yeah, welcome.
Let's go ahead and talk about your show real quick.
Well, I'm just getting started. It's called the Motivated Mindset. So the reason, I joined the Army, I retired from the Army, and this is one of my passions. I always wanted to do was to do something like this. So when I saw this and I reached out to Joel and talked to him, I said, this is where I need to be so I can learn, so I can turn my passion into a purpose. That's the key for me. So I'm excited to be here and learn from you guys. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I am.
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
Hopefully, it's not the blind leading the blind, because I'm still learning this stuff too. But we're like I was telling Terry earlier, we're a family and we're helping each other out. So I really think you're going to do well, in this space.
Good, Joey. Thank you. I'm excited to be here, and I'm a team player, and I want to help out too wherever you need. I can. In the Army told me how to use a buffer, so I can clean toilets. I can do whatever you need me to do.
Yeah, I think I have the MOS 71 buffer.
That is true. That is true. But I am excited to be here and be part of this family. And I this is something that I've been wanting to do for a minute. So
Okay, yeah. Well, I love your energy right out the gate. You've got that stage presence already. I'm jealous of that, so I appreciate you jumping in. You got that good energy. We need that. One
of the things I learned being when I was a first sergeant in the Army, you got to be on all the time, even when you're off. And it just carried on. So yeah, it's just it's been a strange journey being a PFC. Proud freaking civilian. And it's other words I can replace, but no, it's been good, and one of the things that helped me out was connecting with like Wounded Warrior and Team Red, White, and Blue. It's given me another type of mission, and every time I run into veterans, I tell them about, these different organizations. Now I belong to MBR, so I'm telling everybody, hey, this is it, man, sign up, see what we got to offer. So I'm still learning. So thank you so much for introducing me. What's up?
Well, we'll take a quick break, but then when we come back, I do want to maybe have you give some advice to Terry, who is on the cusp of retirement, and then we can talk about that after the break.
Sounds
okay.
Like a
all right. So stand by. We're gonna have Noah Peterson back on. Let me get to. Okay. So Noah Peterson, another round of his music, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Independence Day. I am Joey, host of the Money in the Military Show. I have Terry with me from Tracer Rounds Podcast. And I'm also introducing Jose from Motivated Mindset, an upcoming podcast coming up. Do you have a date or anything yet, or is it still all in the air right now?
I just finished doing, and I talked with Joel. I just did an introduction about myself. So I'm, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be pushing it out. Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Well, you're getting your reps in now and you're putting yourself out there. So I definitely, that's part of the process. I had to do it too, or I did it in my early stages. So it's just funny seeing the new faces coming in and that same excitement and energy. And it's just really exciting. So I'm just glad you're here. All right. So before the break, we were talking about, retirement and when did you retire, Jose? How recently did you retire?
2010. Okay. I did 30 years active duty. And I retired out of Maryland. So, but I can also add about how terrifying it was when I was getting ready to retire. It was like, and I did the transition. So what I ended up doing was I actually while I was on active duty, I got a job at Walmart, because I've never had a civilian job to see what it was like. You know what I'm saying? We tend to live in a bubble when we're in the military, Yeah. And so what I did was I tried to get as much college as I could. But this is what was crazy. I had a lot of friends who have retired. I said, Jose, it's going to be okay. I said, I don't know. So I put in resumes from, like I said, toilet cleaner to, just being logistics. And I'll never forget the first time they called me for my job. My first job was working for the government. I think I was a GS7. And I'll never forget when HR called me. I said, yes, I'll take the job. I didn't know where it was at or what it was. I took it, and I'm glad I did. So that was my experience, is saving money, because you don't know what bills you may have. Trying as you start to transition, it's just getting mentally ready. The hardest part is what's between your two ears, that fear. But we are more than capable once we're out there. You just don't know it because we're used to working with professionals,
Right.
and they out there. So that was my experience.
Okay. So if you were right now and you were basically looking back in the past and you were retiring in December of this year, what advice would you give to Terry here? Financial advice.
The what now? Financially?
Like financial advice. What would
financial is trying to save up at least 6 months of bills, 6 months, so you can have like what you call like an emergency fund, contingency planning, right? Because when especially if you work for the government, it takes such a long time to get hired. So you may have to take a job in between. I was going to start working at Walmart, just so I can maintain my quality of life. So you got to look at what's the minimum amount you need money to maintain the same quality life you have now. That was the challenge. So I live in Maryland. So if I were to get a GS7 or better, that maintained the quality of life. But what I did was trying to pay off all my credit cards, as much as I could, trying to consolidate everything and have some money in my savings, because I didn't know what it was going to be like. And that was it. That's exactly what I did financially.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Terry?
Yeah, that's kind of what I did too.
Okay.
What I do have one, and so what I did too was I took some money out of my 401, which probably isn't the best thing, but I paid off all my credit cards with it. And then I also, the reason I bought my house that I bought is because I was boarding horses and paying like $600 a month for somebody else to care for my horses. So I bought a house where I have my horses with me, so I'm no longer paying board and I'm no longer paying the gas to get to wherever they're boarded, and then, you know, driving back and forth and, you know, spending my time and my money. So that was one of the reasons why I moved too, was to kind of help consolidate my bills. So now I just pay for horse feed and hay and not boarding. So it ended up, you know, kind of being a savings for me in the long run, even though, you know, the house has expenses, obviously, and you've got to do maintenance. And so you still got those concerns. But I have tried to be very cognizant of, you know, taking on any new debt. And because actually I was trying to move to Idaho in retirement when I retired from my first job. So when I retired, my idea was to move to Idaho, which is my home state, and buy a house. And then I had a job there. But the housing market had, that was just after COVID, and the housing market had gone up so much there that a house there costs more than a house here in Texas. And so I would be upside down on a loan for a house because my house wouldn't be worth enough to get what I needed there to bring horses and to have land and all that. And so I finally just decided, I went back home because I had moved temporarily with my mom. And then I decided, well, you know, I can't find a house that I can afford that I need with land. And so I'm just going to have to go back home because we didn't sell this house here. So I just end up, you know, telling them I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go home. And I went back home and got a job here and just decided to stay until maybe the market would work itself out to where I wouldn't be upside down, because I didn't want to go into a full retirement, you know, owing more on a house than I could pay off in a lifetime.
Right. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've done your homework. You've done a lot of your due diligence. You're trying to make the right decisions based off of your situation. So I don't really have any critiques or anything like that. I think I think it's really like Jose was saying, I think it's kind of the mental anxiety of like, okay, am I doing right? Am I going to be okay? When objectively you probably know that you are going to be okay, but you just don't know, like that. I think that anxiety is really a common thing, especially when you're transitioning out of the service, I'm a
little afraid of the military to let me go.
Oh man.
And that was another factor, Terry, was where was I going to live? I lucked out, and while I was on active duty, I bought a house here. So that was one thing that I knew when I was in Iraq. I told DA, hey, I'm ready to retire, Department of the Army. So they had offered me 3 different locations. So when I chose Maryland, I knew that this was what the jobs were at. I didn't know what I was going to do. And one of the things I also tell transition veterans is disability. I don't know if they still have that. It's called benefits before discharge, where you can start working on your disability before you get out. So, and now the VA's gotten a little quicker in getting that, because if you get 100%, that right there just takes care of a lot of issues. But any percentage you get is great. 30% or more is what you try to go for federal jobs, for being taken care of.
Yeah, I'm actually working with a VSO right now, starting my claim to see if it's service connected. Some things I've read say it is, some say it's not. But the VSO is like, well, you'll be my first. Let's see what happens. We'll just try it, and we'll just see what big VA says, and see if it's service connected or not. So
yeah, and I can share something like that, Terry. So I had 2 issues. I had an L4 L5 fusion done. Because of an injury that I had in the Middle East, was never recorded, never. But what they were able to do is make that connection when I sat down with the VSO and documentation. It was never my medical records, and they were able to make that connection. Yeah, that is service connected. So people say, well, it wasn't in my record, but there's a lot of things that we experience, even when you don't deploy, just the life of a military, that affect you as we get older, and you're like, is this part of the aging? But then when I check with my family, no one ever had, like, say, thyroid issues, bladder issues. No, it's, how many shots we get every time we deploy. So I always tell veterans, hey, no, they worry about, what about that individual who lost, a leg? They're going to get theirs. It isn't like you're taking away. So do your disability, put it in, and I help them through that process, because it is clear as mud sometimes.
Right. Yeah, and speaking of the finances, like there are a lot of veterans out there that I work in the hospital system, and I come across like homeless veterans, and they've just never really dealt with the VA, even though like they have clear service connected issues, or even like you're saying, even if it's not service connected, they should be getting some services. And that just breaks my heart. And I'm glad that there are people, you know, trying to advocate for, okay, we need to get homeless veterans off the streets and get them, you know, service connected, and get some money coming in, you know, because they deserve that money just like everybody else, you know. So yeah, definitely, you know, I'm seeing the full picture, you know, like we were talking earlier about how the military as a whole could do better with financial literacy from the day they join, you know, through all your whole military career, you know, like there should be financial education, all this stuff, you know. So I'm going to start, I'm basically, I don't know where I'm going to start, but I'm going to start working on advocacy for that. Like I'm working on a nonprofit to provide military veterans with free financial counseling. That's just an idea that's nothing has been made yet, but you know, I'm just like, I'm seeing a lot of different layers to the problem, and I'm just trying to address them however I can, you know, as one person, but then also as an organization, as an entity, like with MBR and other organizations I want to partner with. So like if you, Jose, if you know of somebody that, you know, is a good organization that, you know, just send them my way, or let me connect with them, or, you know, like, yeah. So I think that's one thing I've noticed with social media is that there's a lot of great organizations out there, but they're just all scattered in the wind right now.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of great stuff, and MBR is doing a really good job of highlighting some of those organizations, but I'm seeing a lot more and more that can be done, and that hopefully will be done.
No, absolutely. I'm always advocating. That is awesome. Like I told you earlier, I belong to Team Red, White, or Blue. I'm what they call an Eagle Leader in Frederick, Maryland, and we provide a lot of resources. Wounded Warrior has this thing called the Post. Every Tuesday, they send out like things that are virtual, or like the PAC 2 law legislation that was just passed, you know, and they explain these things, and just being about Simplify that I belong to. So you're right. It's like an octopus with all these different, you know, how do we make them together? So education is the key. You know, every time and I'm also connected with the Legion and the VFW here, the younger people, you know, and we meet and say, hey, you know, this is what's going on. And, you know, so yeah, it's just putting the information out there. Absolutely, Joey. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the VFW or some of those organizations can then have members that are financially literate and then can volunteer to teach new recruits. Like you can get with the recruiter and then have those groups come in and talk to them, so then they can ask questions about what service like, you know, what am I going to expect, where am I going to go, like what's going to happen to me, and then give them also that piece about, you know, financial literacy and what they need to do, what they need to be concerned with, and how they need to save some money for when, you know, times get tight, they've got something to look back to.
Absolutely. But you're right, Joey. I think my first 15 years in the military was a total financial waste. But man, did I have a good time. because back in the day before they had checked the bank, remember they used to pay you. You reported, and they used to pay you right there. So I'm a kid from New York City. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, 17. So they used to pay me on Friday, let's say $200. I was negative 30 by Saturday. But oh my God. But you know what? I lived in the barracks. I had a meal card. I can give blood. I can pawn my stereo. I can do CQ. I mean, it was amazing. And had they had, you're right, if they had literally, you know, classes on financial preparedness, the TSP, you know, back then, forget it. We'd be set for life, you know. But now they do a better job. But they didn't. They don't. You know, that came in. So but getting education.
Well, hopefully we can at least fix some of those problems like now. You know, like
Sir.
Because we didn't have that, but we can fix it now, and then also fix it for the future generations. So that's kind
absolutely, Joey.
Trying to thread that needle, But yeah, I feel like I would love to hear more about your first 15 years. I think that's some great stories there. You could probably tell some financial stories.
Hey, you know,
maybe we'll keep that off the air.
Yeah. No, it was just, you know, when you're young and you're and coming from New York, I'm not used to my family didn't have checkbooks or something like that, and you give somebody who's 17 money like that, they don't know how to, and it becomes, so yeah. But it was good. It was. I enjoyed it, but I agree. I'm always looking to see. Enjoy. We'll exchange information before we sign off, because as I get information, I can send them your way. Say, hey, this is a virtual class that's going on. I work at HUD now, Housing Urban Development in DC, and I belong to VAG, the Veterans Affinity Group. And we are always putting out information for veterans. Hey, there's a seminar on, transition. There's a seminar on this, which is nationwide. So we'll definitely do that. So as I get something, I can share, because I always say knowledge is worthless unless you share it, and that's what we can do. That we'll exchange information. Yeah, nice. Absolutely. So this has been stupendous. Hey, I don't know why I'm so excited.
You just came out of left field, and then just boom, just like injected this energy into the show. I love it.
So I would tell you, John Lennon said that life is what happens while you're busy making other plans, right? And and you never know. You always got to be ready to engage life and meet people where they are. That's the key, And I've learned that having PTSD, and we know the number 22, it wasn't till I got help that I realized I had an issue. So when you go through any traumatic experience and you come out on the other side, life looks a little bit different, Bottom line up front, I enjoy life. I laugh every day. And, so when you got 6 kids, 16 grandkids, you got to be ready to, be on.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
That's a lot to process. Awesome. I have 1 child, and that's enough for me. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but 30 years, you get. Yeah. No, but I'm here to support the team. And Terry, I've been stationed at Fort Bliss, Fort Hood. I love Texas. I love freaking Texas. Just so you know, I always enjoy Texas.
Except for in the summertime. Summertime's are way too hot.
Reading. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. So yeah. And Joey, where you at, sir? Where you at physically now?
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee right now.
Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Yeah, so no, but I'm here.
At some point, I would like us to have like a little. Well, I guess Denver is like the hub, but it would be cool to like meet everybody. Like in person.
No, absolutely, man. It's like what? Yeah.
There needs to be a pilgrimage. We'll just all convoy to Colorado.
Yeah,
just jump on, have one long line of cars, and here we go.
So this is my first day, actually. I mean, I talked to Joel today. Today's my first day, and that's he put me in that chat. And that's how I got this link. So is there like a roster of people? Like how do we get in touch with each other? I'm asking because I don't know. You just how do we do that?
Mostly we do it through the chat. We can tag people and have like side conversations, but we'll get you hooked up.
I'll put my email in there, my email in there, but also I'm on Facebook too, so I'm on there always. My stuff is positive. So I have a Peloton, just so you know, and I ride it every day, and I'll be posting and when I have my L4, L5 Fusion, I have to wear a brace now when I run an AFO. But I do the Marine Marathon, the Army 10 miler, and it is just stupendous, kicking it with the peeps. So yeah, okay. I'm backing off.
I want to roll with you. I want to roll with you.
Hey, Terry, that's
good energy. Up, like
that's
what's it's the Brooklyn in me. How you doing? Forget about
Oh man.
But, I'm happy to be here, team. I'm happy. I want to be a team player, and whatever I can do, to make a difference. That's what's up, And that's another thing I learned, that the selfless service part that we all did in the military, it can still continue on as a civilian, And I've learned that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. I'll take it back to you. I'm good.
Yeah, no, you're good. I think we've kind of gone over a little bit, but no one's knocking at the door telling us to go off the air. So,
when's the next event? Is there like a list of these things going on? How do I only find out? Like, how do we find out when there's one of these that we just doing right now.
Yeah, it's usually whenever you create a studio, and we'll we can go over that a little bit, but essentially it'll create an event like that you can share on Facebook and all the different platforms. So yeah, we're working on the logistics of how do we get our content out there in a nice streamlined way. So
yeah, so like someone like me, I can go on one site and say, oh, today is this program, so I can sign in and at least listen, and so that'd be cool. So yeah. Joey, I'll put in. Oh, can I put it in here? I'll put my email in here, right? I can put it in the chat. Join the chat.
Yeah, you can do the private chat if you want.
Oh, I don't mind. I mean, yeah. Oh,
or if you want to share it, that's fine too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, oh, okay, sign in. Okay. I don't know why it's making me sign in. Okay, because it won't let me do it now. Private chat? Is that no? Oh, okay. With everybody, yeah. So I'll put my email in there. Yeah, I mean, I'm here to share. Let me know when you get it, and then you can tell me. We can connect. Is that me? Yep. Did you get it? Did it show up, everybody?
I did. I see it.
Yeah.
Hoorah! All right. Yeah, that's my email. And Joey, shoot me what you got, or Terry, and anything I can do. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you on the team, and listen out for Motivated Mindset. So, just real quick, what is your? I can kind of guess what you're going to talk about, but obviously you're a motivated person, and you've got sounds like you got a great mindset. But
it's about the why, really. I mean, like a lot of other shows, it's like, why do we do what we do in life? And to hear those stories, we all have a story. Where we're from. And, right now I'm working on interviewing real quick. You ever heard El Camino? It's called The Way. And this female veteran with some other veterans took this trip. So I'm working on interview them. But to answer the question, is understanding our purpose. Why do people do what they do? The choices we make, and just to hear them out, and you never know. That's the basis of my podcast. That's it.
Awesome. I love it. I'm excited to hear your your shows, your episodes. It's going to be amazing. So
I'm looking to and work with everybody here. Yay! Woo!
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Okay, I'm back.
All right. Well, so Terry, we'll go ahead and wrap up. I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time, and I figured eventually Joel will be like, "All right, what's going on?" But what do you got in? You mentioned it earlier, but can you remind us what you've got coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, so Tuesday, hopefully I'm going to have the VSO on, who's going to talk about the process of getting claims through the VA, what it takes, what you need to do, how quickly you need to start, what resource materials do you need to prove up your claim, that kind of thing. And then I have a couple special guests after that. Nobody named yet, but I'm working on it. Thank you.
All right, cool.
And Terry,
then Jose, go ahead.
Oh, Terry, and can you send me an email and let me know what time that is, our time, when you have that show, your thing, so I can sign in if I can?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central or 7 Eastern. Every Tuesday.
Cool. Got it. Okay.
And it's tracer rounds.
Cool. The tracer rounds. Cool beans. Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our show for today. I just wanted to say thanks to Terry and Jose for jumping in on the stream. Happy Independence Day for everyone out there. If you're celebrating, be safe, make smart decisions. This is your safety briefing for the evening. But yeah, so thank you for everybody joining. What's that? You want to see the safety briefing?
Some of us need that.
Yeah, some of us do, sadly still. But until the next episode, I really appreciate you guys engaging. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.
Namaste. All right, team. Wow. All right.
Thank you.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes. And thanks for joining us today. I'd like to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart. Military Broadcast Radio is doing incredible work to support our veterans and bring their voices to the world. They rely on your generous donations and your dedicated volunteer hours to make it happen. I encourage you to consider supporting MBR in any way, form that you can. Use this QR code that's attached to the picture, or you can go to our website at mbradio.us. That's Mike Bravo Radio.us to learn more about how you can donate or volunteer even just an hour a week from your home. Help make a difference in the lives of our veterans, because once again, we're all here for you and not for us. We're giving our veterans a voice.
That was great.